Hi everybody, welcome to this very special reading. Today we're going to look at who is coming your way and why. What influence do they have? What are they bringing to you? Why are they showing up at this time? I'm going to use tarot and oracle cards, but for the tarot deck, I have actually taken out all of the minor arcana and I have left the major arcana as well as the court cards. So we'll see who's coming your way, and then we will use the oracles to get a significant message for why or what they bring. We're going to start with Aries. We'll go all the way through the zodiac wheel chronologically, ending with Pisces. So find your timestamp in the description box. If you want to look at different areas like your sun, moon, rising, feel free to do that. But this is just a general reading for the zodiac signs. All right, we'll start with Aries. Aries, who is coming your way? Aries. Any messages for Aries? Who is coming into Aries' life at this time? The devil. Okay, the devil. I'm hearing restriction and discipline, so a Saturnian influence. This can be a boss, this can be a corporate figure, someone who kind of gives this, they offer security, but there's a deal that you kind of make with them to get that security. So you have to show up at the same time every day, be there all day, show up in the same way, kind of follow their rules, their tasks. This is the devil's structure, so to speak. For others of you, the devil is more of an archetype that is like challenging themes of codependency, challenging themes of addiction. This can also just be a Capricorn person or someone who is very in touch with their body. Often with the devil, I do see someone with significant amount of body hair. So I do feel it is more of a masculine energy, but let's see why they're coming to you. So the devil is around you at this time, and of course the devil can symbolize temptation. The devil can symbolize, again, those addictions. We feel like we're powerless over something. It's just like, oh, it's so much stronger than me, or it really elicits this feeling of fear. And you kind of make a decision based on this perceived power that this person has over you. So the first oracle is embracing. Okay, interesting. Are we embracing our animal nature? Are we acknowledging that as evolved as we can be, sometimes we give into those animalistic, instinctive urges that maybe cause us to get angry or be like have a sex drive in overdrive type of thing. So you're embracing the devil. Are you embracing the part of yourself that you fear? Are you embracing this new structure? Are you embracing this security? And maybe you've previously had fears about security. We're going to look at the Black Moon astrology deck now. Maybe you've had fears regarding security before, like if I commit to this relationship, it means that I have to say goodbye to all these other options. If I commit to this job, then I say goodbye to my plans for writing my book, right? There's a lot of, again, catch-22. Feels like it benefits you in some ways, but because embracing is here, it tells me that you're, okay, this security, which I previously viewed as imprisonment, maybe it's not actually taking away my freedom. Maybe security is good. Maybe it's going to help me get grounded. This discipline is going to help me kind of stay put and grow some roots. Okay, so you have Black Moon Lilith representing mystery. So it's interesting because when I said that I was picturing a more of a masculine energy, I actually thought maybe it could be in disguise. But let's not get too conspiratorial with it. Let's just take it for what it is and what we're feeling. So Black Moon Lilith indicates areas of fear in our chart. Sometimes it can be the things that are detrimental to us, detrimental to our development, but typically represents sexual repression, where you've lost your power, right? Black Moon Lilith, because she was the first partner of Adam, according to biblical history, correct? So she was the one who wanted to get on top during sex, and so she was cast out for being too dominant. Being too dominant, isn't that interesting? So he preferred someone who was his equal or maybe more submissive to him. So looking at these elements of power and roles that we're supposed to fit into with the Devil card, like it has to be this way, fear is a major influence. This person is showing up to challenge your fears. So in those moments when you feel like you have no faith, maybe you're meant to embrace the part of yourself that you fear the most. Embrace what you fear in someone else. It's a mystery, and the cards are telling you to embrace this right now. I just want to make sure that I explain this. I'm not telling you to invite devilish or toxic or bad influences into your life, but it's more about embracing the mystery. Why do I fear this? It feels like you're becoming quite mindful about your instinctive reactions to things, to people, to places. The devil may not be a specific person, could just be more of an archetype, something you're experiencing within yourself, or an environment. I did shape this reading to kind of indicate significant people, but we are also co-creators of our story. We're not passive, we're co-creating our story. So we are also the significant players in this situation, and I feel like the devil is really embracing this part of yourself that has been repressed. And justified anger, I feel like injustice is a big part of Black Moon Lilith as well. Because of her being cast out, there's this fear of like divine feminine, this fear of feminine sexuality. So just really looking at like why you've behaved certain ways, or why you've reacted to relationships the way you have, and instead of being repulsed or, rejecting things that are actually good and challenging for you, this is about embracing that and exploring, because once you embrace something, you become mindful, you become aware of it. Okay, this is a part of me. Okay, once I accept that, I start to live in harmony. All the parts of myself are being loved and accepted. And so, therefore, there's less fear toward the part that I've disliked or hidden. It starts to come to the surface and it integrates with the other parts of self. So I think you'll see a profound personal transformation as you embrace this fear. What do you fear? Give in to the mystery. Be aware and be detached so that you can be liberated. You're not in those chains. You just simply observe. I feel like there's a fear of intimacy, a fear of your own feminine power, a fear of feminine power, something like that. So it's challenging you. This could be someone too who's just so unashamedly themselves, and they're a very intense version. They're mirroring something to you. It doesn't mean you have to be completely like them, but you can explore that influence with curiosity. Like, oh, okay, let's spend some time together. You do things very differently from me, but I'm kind of curious just to see why you do what you do and how you do it. So this influence of something that is so different and intense. And the devil too, I'm hearing, could be like an outcast from society, and you want to learn more. You want to know like why. You're looking at it from a psychodynamic perspective. Let's look at power dynamics in your life, developmental. Why are you the way that you are? So it kind of begs the question, is a monster made or is a monster born? I feel like you're going really deep into the divine womb, into the subconscious, the collective unconscious, really exploring a lot of these deep themes regarding how this devil is created. I'm just laughing because I have one more quick thing to say. It's like someone who, like, you know, in a movie when like the very preppy guy is like, oh, I like that goth girl, she's kind of different, you know, it's like someone who's very different from you. I just gotta tell you, I think that person will always be terrified. But they're curious, but they may have too much repression to be comfortable enough to deal with it. So it's a challenge, it's a test right now, my friends. So Aries, that's your reading. Thank you for watching. Taurus, let's see who's coming your way. Who's coming your way, Taurus? Significant person in your life at this time. Taurus. The High Priestess. I heard some of you say, I hope it's my own damn self because I need more solitude. So the High Priestess could indicate more time with yourself, but this is also just a very spiritual person. Someone who's quite quiet, who's sensitive, and a little mysterious because they are so sensitive. They tend to kind of be withdrawn. They're a little quieter. They're more of an observer in the group. This is someone that you trust, and I feel like you might be able to help them come out of their shell, but they'll also help you maybe learn to keep more things to yourself. Like they know the power of secrets, I want to say. Could just indicate a very independent person who prefers their own company or who prefers to kind of work alone, but I do feel that they are like soft, bookish, quiet, sensitive. It's pouring rain. Beautiful day. Beautiful day for tarot. Okay, Taurus, why? Oh. Openness. Okay, they're helping you connect and become more sensitive. They're helping you open to a side of yourself, your dreams, your subconscious, your poetic side, I'm hearing. The parts of you that are expressing so much that maybe you haven't really acknowledged on a day-to-day basis. So they're here, it's a very lunar energy. They might prefer to kind of be up at night. But yeah, openness, so sensitivity and be open. Like, do you ever think that maybe they kind of tell you, explain to you things from a spiritual perspective? They point out the synchronicities in your life. They're like, oh, well, have you ever considered that this shark, I'm seeing a shark, symbolizes this? They are able to like analyze your dreams and put things together for you in a mysterious way that maybe you never thought of before. A spiritual leader as well. Could be a tarot reading, could be a Reiki healer, could be any sort of person who is able to observe your energy and help you work with it, help move the energy, help heal it, help cleanse, clarify. That takes openness as well, right? Seeing a therapist requires you to be open. Going to Reiki, even going to the doctor, going to a confessional, something like that where this person is like a blank slate, I'm hearing. They will take on whatever you have to say, and they're not going to hold it. Like they just kind of, they move the energy. They don't take it from you. They don't hold it. They move it from you and into spirit, like back to its source. They transmute it. They maybe transmute it and give it back to you. But the point is, this person is really asking you to be vulnerable. They may be actually confiding in you, Taurus, because you are such a safe space and you're bolder than this person. So they might really feel like, you know, what would Taurus do? I really need to talk to Taurus about the situation and get their advice, kind of thing. So don't be surprised. Let's get a card from the Black Moon Astrology deck. Why are they coming to you? Is this the 8th house? I bet it is. 3rd house. Okay, well, I saw the Eye of Horus and thought maybe... But, okay, 3rd house messages. So they're teaching you a new way to communicate. They're teaching you to journal, to read tarot cards, to meditate, just to connect to that inner world. and open yourself to something. Open yourself to communication. It's like a new trusting relationship. Someone who encourages you to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, be open. Like, you may have been kind of shy or reserved, or maybe you've learned in past relationships to just kind of silence yourself. This is someone who really values communication. But I think that they read you energetically as well. It's like you feel them, you see them in your dreams, or you meet them in person, and they are really connected to that realm. Cat hair everywhere. So you may also hear from them through third house activities, like the mail, the social media, email, a visitor in the neighborhood, someone who lives nearby. The third house is very close to us. But it's also short term, so it feels like there's a window, and I'm hearing that it connects to the eclipse cycle of this month. So maybe the full moon in Pisces up to that new moon in Virgo at the end of the month, the eclipse. It feels like there's a short window of time where you're communicating with this person, or a short window of time where you can already see the influence. It's like they just tell you one little thing. You know, when you go into those spiritual shops and you smell the incense and you hear the singing bowls, and you're just so enchanted. And even though you are in a foreign city that you'll probably never visit again, you just leave there changed. And it's like that short-term visit, and you interact once and you're changed. Like there's something about that. This person just has this presence. You might find that you cry in front of them. They just have this impact where you feel safe, and your communication, like third house messages, you're able to like drop something on them, confess something to them, or just ask them for advice and insight. So they will provide that to you. So it's very spiritual. All right, Taurus, that's your reading. Thank you. Okay, Gemini, let's see who's coming your way. Gemini, you got the Knight of Pentacles. How did I know it would be this card? The Knight of Pentacles. So I'm seeing either a Virgo or a Scorpio. I'm seeing an emphasis on masculine energy, specifically leg hair below the knee. Gender comments aside, this is a person there's an emphasis on their knees for some reason. I don't know if they have a tattoos on the knees, tattoos on the legs. This is someone with a lot of armor. Somebody, I feel like they have a lot of piercings, a lot of tattoos. They have kind of an intense, projection, but it's just armor. They actually wear it because they're quite shy, and to have something so intense or off-putting on the outside is a way to kind of keep people away, or it's like a way for them to filter people. Like, you're only going to talk to me if you really can see through this. So they're looking for something genuine, and he does move slowly. I'm also seeing a real estate agent with that card. A real estate agent, I'm getting something with like service, could be military, could be, he takes things seriously, and he's diligent, methodical, follows rules, like values structure, wants to know the ins and outs of how things work and why, and like the policies. Detail. And so the reason with the piercings is because you're like, why would a person with piercings and tattoos, aren't they alternative? Wouldn't they be into like why would they want to know about policy? Well, this person is intelligent. They might be deceptively emphasis on the outside, but they're actually quite intelligent. They like to know their rights. Like, this is a person who likes to know their rights. They like to know information. They want to know how things work. They want to know what they're entitled to. They want to know recourse, I'm hearing. Why are they coming your way? Oh, and so what I was seeing with the piercings, it's just about the detail. Like they really value the detail. This is a person who's thorough. That's why I see Virgo, Scorpio. They're thorough and like detail oriented. They'll pierce just the right spot kind of thing. Like the tattoo, very precise line work, etc. Why is this person coming your way, Gemini? Love. Okay, nice. So romantic, you could be in a relationship, but either way, this is just someone who really brings love to you. They might also help you unconditionally love yourself. It's kind of profound, like someone who, because I'm seeing this person who is quite pierced and tattooed, and even though that's kind of been a little more normalized and accepted since maybe 2008 or 10, maybe the last like 15 years or so, it's still extreme to a lot of people because it's such bodily modification that it comes off as extreme. But I feel like there's almost a little bit of a challenge there. They like to challenge people to love them. They're kind of like, I really get that emphasis, and they don't care. They don't care if you love them or hate them. They're used to being kind of outcast, but there's something about their self-love, their unconditional self-love, that inspires you to love yourself and to love them as well. Gemini, why is this person coming toward you? Seventh house, relationships, partners. So look, this is absolutely love relationship. There's a Knight of Pentacles who is either, they're diligent, they're detail oriented, they might actually work on the land, they don't mind getting their hands dirty, they're a real estate agent for some of you. But yeah, this person is coming towards you as a partnership in love, a romantic partnership. I really feel that, Gemini. And you do well with Virgos. And I'm hearing, try not to know their sign. There's something about like judgment. They're challenging your notions of judgment and your notions of security as well, because you might get a feeling of security from like knowing people before you meet them. Like, you know how on dating sites you have to disclose your birthday, so it kind of lists your zodiac sign, and some of us maybe have in the past purposely chosen certain signs. So it's challenging you to do it a little differently. They're strong. They're strong. I feel like you're strongly attracted to this person. Knight of Pentacles is he can be pretty sexy. He's got a lot of power in those stems. All right, Gemini, see you next time. Have fun. Okay. Cancer, welcome to your reading. Let's see who's coming your way. Cancer, who's coming your way? Cancer. The Devil. Aries had this, so you and Aries are going through something similar. The Devil is in the details, they say, so make sure you look at the details. But the Devil is also confronting our addictions, confronting our relationship with fear, confronting our codependencies where we give our power away because we believe that we're powerless to something. You know, often with addiction, I mean, we do become chemically, biologically dependent on something sometimes, but this is an illusion of security for a lot of you. When we talk about making a deal with the devil, it's like, I'll offer you security, right? You work for this big corporate, you get this big corporate job, so you get benefits, you get 3 or 4 weeks off per year, you get all these wonderful things, but you've got to be here every day and you've got to show up every single day. You've got to follow my rules, fulfill my tasks that I give you. So you don't feel like you're very independent, but you get security in return. So it feels like you're choosing security with the devil, like you are choosing this security and acknowledging that there is a bit of a trade-off happening. I feel like it's financial for some of you as well, like loans. I'm getting an emphasis with maybe other people's money. We'll see what the astrology cards say. But before I go any further, I want to pull one of these. Why is this person coming Cancer's way? What do you fear and why? Because when we fear something, we give it power. Why do we have fear? Is instinctive because it tells us that something is a threat to our survival. So I ask you, why do you perceive this person or this opportunity or this situation as a threat to your survival? Is it actually? It could very well be. I mean, the devil is sometimes when we've lost all hope and we give into that fear because we don't see any other option. So I think it's also about how we trap ourselves by making choices that we don't want to make. Like if you're going to go to a party with a bunch of people you've never met or you don't really know very well, maybe don't get so intoxicated that you lose control, because then you find yourself in this psychological space of being ostracized while you are under the influence. And we can just see a lot of psychological, effects coming from that. So look at your relationship of fear and what behaviors does this fear cause you to take or engage in? I just tasted ginger. Little detox and like a ginger shot, a nice little, I could go for a ginger tea right now. Cancer, why is this devil coming your way? What are they meant to show you? Stillness. Okay, so in those moments of quiet, what do you do? Because previously it's like, I'm bored. I should have a drink, right? We give in, we immediately kind of go to this quick fix for something that can kind of distract us and take us out of that, but it takes you out of your power, it takes you out of alignment. And let me just give a caveat here. I'm not giving any propaganda telling people that they shouldn't drink or have fun or do things that they enjoy doing, but because the devil's here, there's an unhealthy balance, and I feel like it has a lot to do with temptation during moments of stillness. Like, oh, my partner's gone for the night. Again, it's like I'm bored. And stillness is challenging because at what point does it become boredom? Are you able to sit in stillness and meditate or be with yourself, be with your thoughts? It's very challenging for many of us to do that. And that's why we run into these problems. Okay, so stillness. Like, the devil is chaos, right? The Greek god Pan brings chaos. The word pandemic actually it's etymologically its etymology shows that it comes from the word chaos, pan indicating chaos. So does chaos always have to come when there's stillness? And how can we begin to take our power back? How can we be prepared for those moments of stillness? When we're dealing with, and I know not all of you are dealing with addiction, but the devil is something related to fear, and shopping can be an addiction. It's like you need a little thrill in your life. You need a little something, and instead of choosing to just be still and like do something sort of quiet, it feels like there's a fear that comes in. Do you know how to have psychological peace? Do you allow yourself to have peaceful thinking. Stillness of the mind can sometimes trigger anxiety, paranoia. So what can you do instead of this unhealthy choice that I feel like you don't actually want to choose it with the devil? It tells me you don't actually want to keep choosing it, but you do because it's there. Like you just, it's a coping mechanism. It's what you know. I feel like you're really trying to do something differently. Let's see what the astrology cards have to say. Why is this devil coming your way? Okay, you've got the 7th house. So this indicates partnership, romantic partners, love. Partnership is not just in love, though. It's also in business. It's in friendships. It's in these one-on-one interactions with other people. We do have a romantic couple depicted on the card, but 7th house in astrology is just these one-on-one interactions generally, and how they mirror something to us, what we learn, what we give, what we receive. There's a lot about balance and give and take in the 7th house. And so maybe there's just a moment in your relationship where it feels kind of still, and then it's like, I'm bored, what can I get into, or like, who can I call up, or these like, it just feels like you're maturing a lot, because the devil's also Saturn, right? Saturn energy. Saturn on his hand. And Saturn teaches us about discipline. Saturn rewards us at the end of the work. So if you're able to stay on track with this new discipline, you will see the reward. So it's like you're being challenged to choose long-term security over short-term indulgence. So don't be surprised if this person shows up as temptation to tempt you, and like your relationship is actually peaceful, and then someone shows up and you're mistaking stillness for boredom, right? Stillness is a gift because it means you're free of chaos. So what is it in you that wants chaos when you have stillness? And how can you start to change that? So Cancer, that's been your reading. Thank you. All right, Leo, let's see who is coming your way. Leo, who's coming your way? The Knight of Cups, a suitor, a love interest, or really good friends. It feels like community is showing up to support you here. I'm not sure if you're going through something challenging. We're going to pull some more cards in a second, but this is who's coming through. This is a person who could be an artist, especially a painter. They're very feeling, but I have to say that they're not very reliable. Knight of Cups is the ocean. So there's depth, but the tide comes and goes. This attraction comes and goes. This crush comes and goes. Sometimes we need to follow the whimsy and follow the inspiration to just have this interesting experience. But just be cautioned that sometimes this energy can throw us completely off track. Let's see what let's see what the oracles have to say. Why is this person coming to you? Because I don't read cards the way a lot of readers do, and so I feel like people watch us and go, Wendy, the Knight of Cups is a lover. Yes, they are, but they may not be a permanent lover, so it depends what you're needing from this. Just be warned. I think it's just important to be real and to, forewarn people that don't put all your hopes and dreams into this right away, because you might also find that your feelings change. And that's okay. It's just like, it's weird how, the right moment, the right time, the stars align, you meet and you're like, wow, you're amazing. Like, I see my future in you. Like, you are just like what I need. And then 2 weeks pass and you're like, I feel different. Or like you start out with a vision because you do have some inspiration right now. There's feeling, there's inspiration, you're in your cups energy, and you've got this like urge for something you want to create. You've got a cup full of something to create with. But you like let yourself be distracted. Like you have to match this with discipline if you're trying to execute something creatively, because you might get a little too lost in the feeling. Let's pull some cards. Why is this person coming your way? Thriving. Okay. So again, good support, good community. This may not be one singular person. For a lot of you it can be, but it can also, like I said, just indicate the greater community. This feeling of offering, like I see what you're going through and I want to offer you some love. I want to share my abundance with you. There's like this effort to empathize and to share with someone, or to even take away, like, my cup is empty. Why don't you give me some of your pain? Why don't you talk to me and just let it out, just like the Knight of Cups. Okay. See, it's having that impact on me because I keep saying I'm going to pull a card and then I blah. How do you think I know these cards so damn well? Saturn indicates truth. Okay. So in order to thrive, you have to be quite honest with yourself, truthful about what has distracted you, what has not panned out, what has been like a creative urge versus something that you could invest in. Where did you have that intense physical attraction to someone, but that's all it was for that day, or that event? Like, you met up, you went on a date, and it was wonderful, but it just feels like long term, you want to kind of think about how this affects you long term. Saturn rewards us at the end of the work. Saturn tells us to be disciplined and to follow little steps, to not do it all at once. Remember, we said you have to apply some discipline. I had a feeling that a Saturnian card would come out because that's what the Knight of Cups needs. Knight of Cups is so whimsical and so hard to catch. And sometimes maybe a young person who is very idealistic and they're kind of learning a truth about life. I'm also seeing an end, and then how the energy has to come, like the water reaches the rock and then it has to start going the other way. So there is an end to this, and then it starts going the opposite direction. Just, I think, really being truthful with ourselves in terms of, my feelings have changed, or I'm abandoning that project because I just don't feel the passion anymore. So why would I create something fake or disingenuine? I really need to look at where I've let myself be distracted by other people, or where I have spent all day messaging my beautiful husband instead of following, doing my work. These examples of where we kind of get caught up in feelings and we get distracted from the truth, distracted from the plan, or distracted from something that we should be following. So just a little bit of discipline, a little bit of structure will help give guidance to this Knight of Cups. But I feel like they do have to learn, or maybe there's something about learning about this bit of a harsh truth of life, which is where restrictions happen. Because the Knight of Cups is the world is so open. I'm out on the ocean. Oh wait, now I'm stuck in an enclave. Right? There's boundaries present. There are borders and boundaries, some restriction present, and I feel like that Knight of Cups is just realizing a little bit of a better way to do things. But we've all got to go through this to learn the bounds. I heard the bounds of existence, the bounds of self versus other. So We just got to go through. I feel like you're watching your teenage child like go through their first heartbreak. And you're like, yeah, I'm in my 40s. What can I say? Been there, done that, honey. Like, it happens, right? But they're devastated and they don't see the way forward. So then you come in as a Knight of Cups to kind of bring them this kindness and this like grief, kind of gentleness during their grief. Okay, Virgo, let's see who is coming your way. Boom, we've got Judgment just like that. Boom, it's happening now. It's happening now. It's quick. Judgment. Your true self is coming forward. The true self that gets projected out into the world. The karmic you, like the very ancient you, meets the present you and is projected into the future you. It's very profoundly spiritual. Profoundly transpersonal, I'm going to say. But could also be a very judgmental person who maybe shows up because they want to argue. I don't know, judgment can sometimes be very loud. Can be like a rock and roll, like it's someone who's very loud and likes confrontation. I feel like they have misjudged you, Virgo, because when you are fired up, I wouldn't fuck with you. Why is this person coming your way? It's karmic. It may not even be the same person. It could be a new person who is like an evolved version of someone that you loved in the past, or someone who meets the new evolved version of you and they're just on that level. So it's truthful and it's karmic, and you have this wisdom from your past experiences that lets you be very authentic in this new experience. Why is this person coming your way? I mean, judgment as well. If some of you are waiting for an endorsement or an order from a judge, that's coming through. If I'm here, I'm seeing a doctor's note or like a prescription or something. So whatever you've actually been waiting for, like news or an announcement, it's coming through. Power. Okay. Yeah, it feels loud and powerful. Teaching you about power. And where do you direct it and how do you direct it? I feel like this is a second chance for you to live in power. Virgo. Why is this energy? Why is judgment, this person coming your way? And the 12th house representing escape. So something very opposite of you, helping you see the power in the unseen, helping you see. I don't know if this person's able to, like lightning strikes, it hits them. I feel like this person's actually not able to escape. Maybe, I don't know if you've been trying to escape or they've been trying to escape judgment, this confrontation or this like final conversation or some kind of obligation I'm hearing. A person might have been kind of running away from their obligations. But we talked about this karmic cycle and the past self, the very ancient self. This is 12th house. This is you in your past lives. And if you believe that, why am I saying this? Interesting. There's a lot of different people watching, but what I feel strongly, and past life maybe is not you 3,000 years ago. Maybe it's you 10 years ago in this life. But you were a different person. There's just a different incarnation, like a different version of you, an evolved version of you that gets this second chance. And you're learning a lot about purge, like what you need to purge to get a feeling of power. This could be karmic cycles from a past life, though, where there's just some unfinished business between you and this person. There's a connection between you and this person, and there's something to be worked through. Meet them in the dreams. I heard meet them in the dream realm. Whoa. Feels like something's unfolding. like I'm watching dominoes or there's like a hose that's like a firecracker, like a sparkler, something like that, and it's all spiraled up, and then the flame kind of goes and then it hits the center, and then there's this big moment. Could be celebratory. I think you achieve this because you've done a lot of work on yourself. You've been through the 12th house. You've healed as much as you can up to this version, up to this point. And it feels like they showed up maybe previously when your tendency was to escape, and now you stay and you show your power. Or maybe you're challenged to recognize that sometimes the power actually is in letting go. The power is not holding the grudge or like yelling at someone, or maybe the power is actually in getting out of the situation rather than staying and making a point like judgment wants to. So what does power mean to you in this situation? Because what I actually see is that I don't know, you're seeing a new version of someone, and they may be more empowered now. Maybe you don't actually talk to them. Maybe you just see them, but you kind of slip out. You don't want to see them. Is that? I don't know. That doesn't seem usual for a Virgo. But that's the 12th house. It's so opposite of you. There's something about this person or this influence that has made you act like opposite or differently from how you normally would. Very Piscean as well, like Jupiter. I see justice. I see power. Direction, the ability to direct your power. We all have power, it's just about how we direct it. And it feels like yours is very focused on getting out of something. I think I'll leave that there, Virgo. Thank you. Okay, Libra, let's see who's coming your way. Who's coming your way right now, Libra? Everyone. The world is making you tired. Everyone. Lots of obligations. It's all coming at you because Mars is in Libra. The sun is about to go into Libra. And when we see the world with death, the world is just making you tired. You've got a lot of obligations, a lot of people, a lot of stuff going on, the news, multiple people. I usually have a rule that I only take the top card, but I just knew that when I saw that flag, I was like, yeah, I have to take both of you. You wanted to be seen together. Little message there. Someone could be welcoming a baby. I mean, there could actually be the birth of a baby. I'm seeing jewelry, a jeweler, timekeeper, a timekeeper. Ooh, there's something about discipline and trying to reach your goals. And then what do you become when it's all over? pretty profound right now. I mean, again, could be a Scorpio. I don't know, I feel like it's more Saturnian though, it's karmic. Let's see why they're coming your way. The World can be a very popular person, someone who is very visible. It feels like you have a lot of support during an ending, during a loss. Everyone is showing up for you to offer support. Let's see. Libra. Love. So romantic love is indicated here. Love generally, just loving energies that come from that authentic place of wanting to support, needing to, like, empathy. What is love but unconditional empathy, understanding, like support? Something is completed. This person may put the final piece into place. They help you understand the full picture. I feel like you get I heard news, but you get like the full picture of something. This could be someone who is at a great geographical distance from you. I think there's someone who is teaching you how to protect yourself in different circumstances. Like a person who maybe is, like, look at this, the World. She's naked. And she's visible. But back on the ground, having to actually, be on the ground with all of these people, puts on the armor and is on the horse. So it kind of feels like you're being carried. It feels like there are many people who are kind of wanting something from you though, and I feel like love also has to be shown to yourself because Libra is always considering the other. That this is why Libras get stereotyped as being indecisive. The only time Libra is indecisive is when they're trying to please someone else because they're denying their own truth. They're afraid of a reaction. They're afraid of confrontation. They've been traumatized by that before. So, but it feels like there's a significant ending taking place. I heard something about sacrifice. Let's see what the astrology cards say before we go any further. Libra. Okay. The 7th house, partnership. So love and partnership. Cancer had this. Who else had love? Doesn't matter. Maybe you stop the search, you find love. This could absolutely be that you're finding somebody with the World. I feel like they could be a little bit of a distance. Maybe you find them on the World Wide Web, dating apps, etc. Feels like there's a little bit of a humbling experience. Not humbling, but it feels like you don't... Everyone's coming at you and you don't have the energy for it right now. Like something that people see as public is not actually public. I know I'm being very, I'll just give an example. Like, for example, when I'm finished a set on stage, performing music, and then people immediately want to come up to me and like swarm me and talk, and like they're drunk, but like they're excited and it's awesome and it's really nice and sweet, but it's also overwhelming because I need to get off the stage and pack my stuff up and get off so that the next band can come on. And you're like overwhelmed, like they want to just like talk to you because they're excited, they just saw you do something. So it should be kind of that environment, right? You should also be experiencing the joy, but it just feels like you're like, okay, let me just change this, let me change over, let me, pack my stuff up, and then we can have a chat. So I'm wondering also if your approach, like you've been misunderstood because of your approach. Just because the world can see you doesn't mean you owe the world you. A lot of you can be going public with a new relationship, and this does kind of stop a lot of like maybe speculation or offers, or just closes the doors, closes some paths. It's like you've seen it all, you've seen enough to commit, and you've seen enough to know that you no longer want to go down a certain path. And I feel like you're committing to one path that is good and that is loving and that is quite supported. I think a lot of you could just be also meeting the family, the friends, the network, the community, the greater community that this person has, and like meeting each other's worlds. And that's the next step, right? It's like we're taking this from an intimate behind the scenes type of thing to a more public, take it to the public stage. But I think the world also makes us look at our responsibilities, and I feel like there is a message of balance there for you, Libra. Give and take in relationships. What are these partnerships mirroring to you? What do these relationships tell you about yourself? What do you bring? What do they bring? How do they make up for it when you can't show up? And how do you make up for it when they can't show up fully? Like, is there balancing? Is there compromise? But it just feels like you're opening in a big way, because it's like I feel like I know everything, but I know that can't be true because there's so much to know. So let's take this to the next level, but we have to evolve, we have to transform to then explore that next level, to know what that next level looks like. All right, Scorpio. Who is coming your way, Scorpio? The Knight of Cups. Who had this? Was it Virgo or Leo? Anyway, the Knight of Cups is coming to you. So the Knight of Cups indicates that there is love, a love interest, a love suitor, somebody coming to you, or if you're in a relationship, there's an offer of romance, like a gesture, kind of a softening. You might notice somebody getting softer around you, feeling more like showing outward gestures of things. Sometimes Knight of Cups can be a very distracting energy. This can be someone who is not really intentional. They're not focused enough, and they do need to learn the art of intention or the art of focus. They might be quite whimsical and they like to just kind of be spontaneous and go with the flow, but they lack structure. So there's someone who has the beautiful qualities of being very cuppy, very sensitive and creative and loving, but they lack direction. So let's see what the other cards are saying Why are they coming to you? Potential. Okay, yeah, so they show the potential, and it's, I've got all these great ideas, I've got this inspiration, like let's talk about these raw ideas. So it's all about potential with the Knight of Cups, but you can't commit to potential. You can't fall in love with potential. You shouldn't marry potential, they say. You should really commit to something that is actually already embodied. So I feel like this could be maybe someone that you're seeing kind of temporarily, and they show you what you kind of want, but they also show you what you don't. The thing with this person is they get distracted or they lose interest. They might not even notice how much potential they have, how skilled or how talented they are. They just kind of come and go with the tide. So in love, that's going to be frustrating for you. As a teacher, this is a student who you're trying to like coach, and you see the potential in them, and it's like, how can I do my job properly where I get this person to commit to something or to like find some discipline so they can see where this could go, you know, if they just follow a bit of structure, like, you know, the tide coming and going, it's uncontainable. So that Knight needs some guidance, maybe some goals, maybe like looking at results. Let's get into more of a masculine, structured, they need lattice to grow on. This is a vine that needs lattice to grow. I need some guidance to keep it under control, and also so that I don't spend all my energy in one place or squander my resources in one place. I wanted to say, as an aspect of self, Knight of Cups can also indicate where we get distracted, where we get off track, we follow the inspiration, but then we completely lose the mark, like we just get caught up in something. So it's a little bit of a warning. It's a little bit of a warning that there's a lot of feelings going around, and there's some unpredictability and maybe some frustration about discipline and reliability. Like someone who just never finishes the job. Anyway, one more card. Why are they coming your way? Rare. Yod, destiny. They're like a moon child. They're very, I don't know, they have a different presence. You see, I'm tasting cinnamon. There's something different about them. Like, that kid is psychic. Or did you see the painting that he just did? Like there's something really special and rare about this person with the destiny point. So it feels like they will make it, just because they are so destiny. I mean, they happen to be in the right place at the right time kind of thing. That can happen too, right? But it does feel a little bit like it's fated. And I don't know if this frustrates you. I feel like you're destined to meet this person because they show you the potential of how the feeling world can enrich your life. They show you the value of art and poetry. And I'm tasting smokiness, like fire smokes, not necessarily cigarettes, but smoke. It's smoky. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Potential, right? Potential. So this person helps show you, or maybe you're so fiery, they help show you the water element. They show you how to get in touch with feelings, or how to be more open. Because even though Scorpio is water, Scorpio can be quite rigid, and it's a security thing. And so they're showing you like that potential lies in other areas of life, and they kind of open you up. Sorry, I keep fiddling with my they open you up to a new world. And I have to say, I don't know if this person is around for a long time, but they bring so much value to your life that you will never be the same. You will be changed. You might want to continue to make art long after they're gone. You sit and watch the fire burn. They just teach you to kind of be more process oriented as opposed to results. More in the what if or what could be, in the mystery of it. And again, that's a difficult place to be because it doesn't feel reassuring. It doesn't feel safe, but it's challenging you to be okay with that. I also heard one more thing, that there's a person, this is for one specific person out there who I don't think will ever see this, but there's a kind person from the community who has a big heart, and they want to offer you some of that universal love. It's not romantic, it's just a loving energy of empathy and positive regard for you. They want to know, because it's like they saw destiny intervene, and they want to know why you maybe wasted your potential. But they also feel like it was fated to happen. So that's for someone who I don't think will ever see this. But anyway, thank you, Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius. Let's see who's coming your way. Sagittarius. Death. Libra had this as well. All right, the Death card. Well, the old Reaper. Could be a person with a really intense look. Could be a Scorpio. Somebody with an exoskeleton. They're self-protective. You feel the power when they enter the space, though. So before we go any further, I want to pull the other cards because I want to see why they're coming toward you. Abundance. Okay, so 8th house energy. There's some 8th house energy happening with death and abundance, other people's money, inheritance. I mean, death could just be more of an archetype that you're encountering, right? Like, that energy comes for us all one way or another. Okay, and Capricorn, I use. So there are resources here. Strange that those cards came out and then my screen went to a screensaver, even though I've been doing this for some time. Okay, so just get these in order here. Death, abundance, and I use. So yeah, inheritance, resources, a grant, maybe a loan, something for you to use, resources that you can. I'm hearing strategy so that I don't squander this. Scorpio did have kind of a message like that, so I wonder if you're maybe connected that way, or you've got significant Scorpio in your chart, which you probably do as a Sagittarius. I mean, death can bring a loss or the end to the abundance. There could be a resource, maybe a job or something that was kind of like, with all the tariffs and everything, it's very challenging because I'm in Canada, right? So it's very challenging now for everyone to kind of do trade across a border where it used to be so easy. So there could be a new way of navigating resources and what you do have to use, right? What you do have available to use. I kind of feel like this is a change of season as well as we go into the fall months. We're looking at the final harvest of the year. The fields become barren. We go into Capricorn season, which is like scarcity, and we have to survive off of the harvest. So I think this is teaching you to stretch your resources, be resourceful, and not overdo something right now, because you may need that more in the future. There could be someone you've been helping and you have to stop helping them. You might feel like they're kind of an endless, like death can be kind of an energy that, like an energy vampire, or just someone who's kind of always showing up to ask for something. So there's a huge question, Sagittarius, about resources and how you allocate them. Death can be like a deer who comes through your yard and eats your garden. And you wake up the next morning and you're like, all that work I just did for 4 months, gone in a single night. It just feels like there's something like that, like a change of I don't know. I feel like that gets, I don't know. Honestly, for most of you, I feel like this is a really good thing. I feel like it is more about the 8th house, because we do have this like resources that you can use. So you gain through other people, through your obligations, through your connections to family, in-laws, other people, grants, organizations, companies. Like I feel like you're getting funding. Sometimes with this change that death brings, shoot, I'm sorry, I've lost it. You find abundance in something else. Or in a moment of loss, you kind of realize what you're grateful for. Like earlier this month, I was quite sick. I had a cold pretty intensely for almost 2 weeks. And yeah, it was frustrating. It caused delays. But I found great comfort in reconnecting to my inner world. There was a great purge happening within me. And I knew this. I knew that symbolically being sick wasn't the only thing I was going through. I was just in a huge way purging. And what I found great comfort in was actually lying in the backyard and just letting the earth hold me. It felt so, in the sun, it was hot days, and I was just in a hoodie. I had my hood up and I was just letting the earth hold me in fetal position. And I thought, even though I feel like I have nothing else right now because I don't have any energy, I can't do my readings, I can't like really show up for much right now, but I have abundance in this other place. And that, reopened a relationship for me. So it's a little bit of a mystery, Sagittarius, but I feel like it's just about being resourceful and gaining. I actually think death brings you something to gain. I feel like people want to support you. Your public image there with Capricorn, your 10th house, your career, your personal or your public self. People notice that and they contribute. Okay, Capricorn, let us see who's coming your way. You've got the Page of Cups. I felt it was a young energy, could be a child who's learning, that next stage of development, and they're like, oh, what can I do with this? Or, what are the consequences of doing this? And they're starting to test things. They're very curious and they want to know why. So they're entering that phase. Page of Cups. This could also just be someone who's kind of out there, psychedelic. Maybe they do psychedelics, or they act that way, or they dress kind of unusually, like an artist or someone who likes to go to arts events. They like to be in galleries and look at all like the experimental noise shows, like really unusual stuff. Even if they're not young in terms of when they were born, I feel like they have a young soul because they're curious. They want to learn. Like, they don't act like they know everything already. They're curious. They want to explore. So I feel like this person brings a lot of fun, depending on your temperament and your disposition. Let's see why they're coming your way. Someone who did something bad, or they saw something, a witness. You this might be at work. Someone's coming to you to like not confess, but like, what should I do? I heard Annie M. What should I do about this? I saw this. I can't unsee it. Or this made me feel really weird. Or like someone's kind of dealing with, like, this person is going through something for the first time, and it's really hitting them to their core. Love. I feel like it's unconditional love. It's like I love you unconditionally. Love is an act. It's action. It's empathy. It's not romantic, I want to say. Let's get an astrology card. What area does this person affect? Chiron, the old wound, the primal wound. Do you know how to receive love? Is this person giving you love and you don't know how to receive it? Are you the Page of Cups? Like, I don't know what this feeling is. And you're like, what do I do? Healing. This person needs to heal, or you need to heal, but the purpose is for healing. The wound, like the deepest cut, the first wound that stayed with us through our whole life, that affected a lot of things that we saw, observed, perceived, chose, did, explored, etc. Do you know how to receive love? Would you let yourself receive love? Does this other person know how to be loved and receive love? You may have to guide them, teach them about giving and receiving love and what that actually looks like. A person who is kind of distraught, I see a lot of you as like teachers, principals, therapists. You're in this position where you deal with the public, and you see them in these vulnerable moments, and it's up to you to kind of not solve it for them, but really help guide them, and to help them keep touch with reality, I heard. Help them maintain touch with reality. Sometimes we don't know that we have these wounds until they show up. And you can be in your 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond and never have known that you had this wound until this influence showed up, until this Page of Cups showed up. Maybe you take a psychedelic drug for the first time and you have this experience that changes you because it illuminates a weakness, or it highlights a focus point that you don't really think about in your daily waking life. A lot of people do microdosing of various things to just help keep them in the place they need to be, or the place they want to be. So I don't really have much to say about that, but I feel like maybe there's something there where healing comes from an unexpected method. But it really feels like this is about opening and acknowledging what you feel, acknowledging what you see. Because as soon as you acknowledge it, you're aware of it, and then you can observe it, you can heal it, you can work with it. So the first step is opening. You're about to be reborn, Capricorn. You can tell by the lotus flowers or the lilies on his tunic. Love will do that. Love will challenge us in ways. When you're single, it's easy to think you're healed, because you don't have to really be accountable to anyone, really. In love, it's quite different. It illuminates our wounds that are only present in those situations. So connect to loving energy. That's how you heal, is connecting to the heart space, the color green, the center, everything coming and going, flow. It's about flow. It's about giving and receiving constantly. So I'll leave that there, Capricorn. Thank you. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, who's coming your way and why? Aquarius. I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, it's an animal. It's an animal energy. And then we pulled the moon. Profound. For a lot of you, it is an animal aspect. It could be an animal physically, but it could be an aspect of self. The moon tells me that this person is emotionally unstable, psychologically unstable, a person who, or maybe just is quite depressed. They see sorrow, they feel sorrow constantly, they see the world through that lens of sorrow. They don't know how to marry the subconscious with the conscious. They are very afraid of their subconscious mind. They may have a lot of nightmares, night terrors, depression. This is someone who maybe even prefers to be alone a lot of the time, kind of move at night because it's just easier to not deal with people. Or someone who's quite sad. I'm getting another message that this could be somebody you're photographing or filming. Or this is like a photographer film. Let's see why they're coming your way. Because there is something about capturing an essence. Why is this person coming your way, Aquarius? Courage. No, community. Community. Maybe someone who's afraid to admit something about themselves. They don't feel comfortable with others. They feel comfortable with you, though. They feel safe with you. And, in a bigger way, this is someone who needs support. This could be a pregnant person. Moon can symbolize pregnancy as well. So this could be a pregnant person. But again, community is needed. This person cannot go through this by themselves. It's Neptune representing sacrifice. Very Neptunian individual. I feel like this is someone who's used to having things being taken away from them. You might be connecting because you're both in sorrow. You've got Pluto transiting your sign right now in like the 1st degree, which is a lot of shocks, I want to say, a lot of change, a lot of sorrow. And this is probably someone that you've met or connected with because you're both in this similar emotional space. This person does need support, and I'm just wondering if you're able to be fully the support that they need, because with Neptune and the moon, I really feel I'm seeing someone in particular in my head, and this person greatly needs help, from like professional help. They need professional help, but there's something very vulnerable about admitting that you're in this place, because you could give up your freedom, because they want to pathologize you and take away your freedom, right? When you're not acting according to the prescribed structure. So I feel like it has a lot to do, I'm getting something about boundaries and where you're allowed to exist, because I'm thinking about marine life and how it can't really live outside of the water. And is there something about sacrifice relating to boundaries, or where you're not allowed to exist? This may be someone who's in grief, and community is there to support them, but did I say grief or Greece? They're in grief. The community is there to support them. Okay, I am seeing, I don't know, I'm combining the word grief and sacrifice, and this is looking very Greek to me. Of course, a lot of our mythology and symbolism is taken from that, but I apologize. I'm not sure if that's significant to somebody. What are they sacrificing and why? They need hope. This is someone who's on either end of the extremity, like they idealize things, or they have absolute despair. So how can we help this person realize that there's more of a spectrum of existence, and that it's not quite polarized? It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be a little bit of everything, a little more balance, like a little less extreme and a little more balance. I'm wondering if their emotional needs require you to sacrifice a community presence. Like maybe you were meant to run a bunch of workshops, or you had a big event planned, or you were supposed to show up for the board meeting, and you can't because this person really needs you. It does feel a little bit like you kind of have to put your goal on the back burner for a little while in order to help them. Is this person completely relying on you and putting a lot of pressure on you to save them? Aquarius, I feel like this is quite serious for some of you. And I know that's off-putting to others who maybe aren't dealing with this, but this is a predictive reading, so you may be dealing with this in the near future. Of course, you don't know about it right now. But it does feel quite serious. I feel like community's there to help this person learn about involvement, right? When we do outreach or activism, often that is like a selfless act of sacrifice. I will sacrifice myself, or I will stand for this cause, or I will give up my free time to go and fight for this, or I don't care what the community thinks of me. I need to say what I saw or describe my experience. Like, I'm getting a lot of the 11th house, which you actually rule, but I feel like your 11th house is quite strong here. And I feel like this always comes up too with anything that I've ever done where there's been a community sort of presence. There's always like one person that kind of, will latch on to you, and kind of, for some reason, they're just very drawn to you. And even when you don't really have answers or really the capacity to help them in the way that they desire or the way that they need, for some reason, they still kind of latch on to you. And I'm not sure why that is, but I can't help but feel like where are you in this? Like, let's just get a card. I just want to get one more card. Card of advice for you. Yeah, because it feels like it's weighing on you, but the 10 of Wands tells me that someone's ready to confess. Someone has to confess something because they can't see the way forward. Is this you taking on all these emotions and like being this person's support, but now you've lost track of your own? Like, they come in to kind of detract from your path or distract you in a way. This person may not be interested in healing or being helped or evolving or, discovering. They might actually just be energy vampire, kind of there to just see who they can latch onto. It's tricky because the moon tells me there is a little bit of deception with this person. They're not always perfectly honest. And, a lot of us, again, going back to what I said at the beginning, like, maybe they've learned to be deceptive in some ways so that people don't really know what they're dealing with inside. But this needs community healing. I don't think you can do this yourself, Aquarius. I feel like you need to bring this to the community. You need to talk to people, a community advisor, leader, organizer, or the group generally, and figure out how to deal with this problem. I'm just going to tell it like it is. I really feel like this is someone who is like latching on to you, and they're like, for emotional reasons, they're kind of like very needy toward you. And I don't think you can handle this yourself. I don't think you're equipped, and I don't think you were expecting it. So, like, it's not in a context where you'd expect it. So just, being mindful. There's always kind of that one weirdo. Does that sound horribly offensive? I'm not trying to, but it happens. It's a phenomenon that happens. Like, let's be real. There's always that one person. I'm smelling rubbing alcohol, so we're sterilizing. There's always that one person that's just like, do you know, like, their story? Do you know where, like, what's their deal? I'm getting a feel, like, you might have a feeling about this before they show up, right? So I'm smelling alcohol, actually, just drinking alcohol strongly. So this person might actually have a drinking problem, Neptune. It seems to be very much maybe some substance problem. And they need community, again, to keep them accountable. Community, like showing up for this so that you're accountable to other people. You can't do it yourself, Aquarius. They can't do it themselves. They need community to heal. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you. Okay, Pisces. Who's coming your way? The Queen of Pentacles, an earth sign woman, most likely Capricorn, Taurus, a Virgo. Just someone who's very kind. I think you're quite attracted to this person. They are very... Excuse me. They're very connected to their body. As my digestion starts acting funny. They're very connected to their body. They're very attractive. They're responsible. They're a caregiver. This is someone who can really motivate you to kind of... I'm hearing get your life on track for some reason. They're just very like good at budgeting meal planning, and they just feel like they've got it all figured out. And you're like, how do you do this? Teach me your ways. So they show you the art of scheduling, the art of business management, the art of running a household successfully while juggling other things. So there's someone here who's a wonderful caregiver. That being said, like, really nice bedside manner, can also be a nurse, can also be a veterinarian, someone who the vulnerable really trust. She's going to sit with you, take care of you. She's going to show up on time to do the checks, make sure you've got what you need. She's teaching you to nourish yourself. So a very reliable, safe person. Let us see. Peanut butter. Why does it smelling peanut butter? Inner peace. So why are they showing up? They're showing up to bring you inner peace. And isn't that nice? Because you're symbolized by the 2 fish, and you've got 2 koi fish here, which symbolize luck, but they're looking at you. You know, this person is helping you achieve inner peace. And remember that we can't only have peace when someone's around. I feel like she's actually giving you the tools to get that peace that you need. I mean, what would bring you inner peace? Is it connecting to nature? Is it having more moments of stillness? Is it eating nourishing meals so that your nervous system is soothed? She's just able to help you so much with routine, which sometimes we overlook, right? Because it's so mundane that the days just go by. Oh, it's been 3 days and all I've eaten is rice. Which is quite a privileged thing to say. But, you know, she's going to help you enrich your life and reach peace. What area of life is she affecting? I feel like it's 6th house. Mercury retrograde. Reinvention. So yeah, it's time to do something a little differently. It's time to look back. Oh, look what was underneath it. 6th house routine. Told you. And the Grand Cross, symbolizing the provoker. So that's cardinal energy. So she could be a Capricorn, or just maybe one of the mutables. Maybe it doesn't matter what her sign is. She's provoking you to change, and I feel like this Mercury retrograde, you know, symbolically happening in your life, where you can go back and retrace your steps and figure out new ways of doing things, because something might be breaking down and you're like, how can I rework this? What are the boundaries that I require? What's the discipline I require? What's the schedule? What's the amount of time that I should spend on this? How can I nourish myself? If I have this big goal, it's like you've got this really big goal, and the Queen of Pentacles is going to help you achieve that goal, because she'll teach you how to break it down into little pieces so that you can actually get there. She's going to show you how the result is achieved by the process, and what that process must look like to achieve that result. So your health, your nourishment, sleep, who you care for, what you do, what you consume in a day, food-wise, media-wise, everything that you do in a day, it's all in the details. So I'll leave that there, Pisces. Very wonderful influence for you.